Okay, good morning everyone. So, today we'll talk about chapter 1 of class 4 globes and map. Now, what is a globe? Globe is actually true representation of Earth or a true model of Earth, a three-dimensional model of Earth. Now, on the board here, I've drawn a globe. This is not actually in 3D but 2D, but you can see this is a sphere shaped, a ball shaped model of Earth, which exactly looks like Earth. Now, the pins here, the needle here, they are actually attached to a needle and there is a base of it. Now this globe rotates west to east, which is exact rotation of Earth. And these needles actually points to North Pole and South Pole. So this is how we see that the globe is actually true representation of Earth. Now, we'll talk about now maps. Now, what are maps? You've seen map of India. Let's just try to draw it. I hope I do the justice. This map. Let's just see for now. We are doing it for the understanding purpose. Okay? Only for the understanding purpose. If this is a map of India, let's just pause. So this is not exactly representation of India on Earth, but it is actually two-dimensional representation of India on Earth. We cannot draw something flat, which actually exists. We can only make a portrait form of it in 2D. So map is actually when Earth is represented on flat surface. So flat surface becomes your map. Now there are different kinds of maps. Like you see thematic maps, which basically talks about different themes, like different your vegetation pattern, how the vegetation is distributed throughout your states and throughout your country. Then rainfall distribution, soil types. These are all your themes. Industrial areas, mining sector. These are all your themes. So this representation in the map is known as thematic map. Now, other map is physical map, where you see physical features of world or India. So, physical features like mountains, plains, you can see hill, valley region. These are all your physical or the relief features. So, this is represented in a physical map. Then political map. When we see the international boundaries or the national boundaries or specific capitals and the states, that is actually represented on political map where we see perfect international and national boundaries. Even the district boundaries are perfectly highlighted. So this is political map. Now we also see tourist map. When we go, we see different places, we use tourist maps. So these maps are basically for a smaller area. Tourist map can be for a particular place of visit. So they are for smaller areas. So they are known as tourist map. So there are different types of maps. Now, both map and globes have some similar purposes, like both talk about distribution of continents, oceans, places, countries on Earth. Then why are we using globe and maps separately? Why not use only one? There might be certain differences or maybe some shortcomings. So benefit for using globe is that it is a true model of Earth, whereas map is not. Map is not exactly the true model of Earth. So globe is exactly the true model of Earth. We can learn movement of Earth, like rotation of Earth. We can even see how the North Pole and South Pole are located. So basically, to know about surface of Earth, shape of Earth, globe is very useful. But there are several shortcomings of globe also. Like the minor location, smaller locations are not mentioned on globe. Whereas in map, minute locations are also mentioned. Then we cannot talk about thematic globes. There's nothing such as thematic globes. They don't talk about the agricultural pattern, the vegetation type, the forest type, the soil type, the industrial locations. They don't talk about all this. Whereas map talks about in detail. Then map being two-dimensional, which can be folded and kept in pocket anywhere, and we can go and we can use it anywhere. Whereas globe being three-dimensional, and usually nowadays we also use smaller globes, but in initial times there were very big globes, so you cannot take it everywhere, so they are not that much mobile. So these are all shortcomings of a globe, whereas map becomes more beneficial when you talk about continents and countries in details. So this is all for today. I hope you enjoyed the lecture. Okay, let's just also talk about the maps in detail also. Like how do we study map? Okay, how do we study map? So let me tell you how do we study map. Draw a map. So we are taking this class divided between two lectures, two topics. First is talking about briefly about global map, and now we'll talk about map in detail. How to read a map. This is your map of India. I know this is not exactly map of India, but we'll still consider it while studying. So, when we talk about map of India, we see in your left corner over here, sometimes over here, we see N and a star shaped structure. It is written N here. Why N? Because this N direction is fixed and we can derive other directions likewise. That means this is your north, this is your south, this is your east, this is your west. Now there are some directions also. This is your northeast, northwest, southwest and southeast. Likewise, but the north direction is fixed. We don't see all this in actually present in the map. So, how to read a map? The first is with direction. The capital N talks about the direction. Now we'll talk about the other symbols used in map. Symbols like this. Suppose we are talking about, or maybe we'll talk about a capital. The capital of Gujarat, which is Gandhi Nagar. So, this Gandhi Nagar might not be mentioned in map sometimes, or maybe, but this symbol will also always be present. So, what this symbol talks about? Capital. Then, if we are talking about a road map, or maybe a water route, okay? So, suppose this is Mumbai and we are talking about Mumbai to Kolkata water route. So, suppose this is dotted line made for Mumbai to Kolkata water route. Okay? So, basically it will be like this, from water we are going. Okay? From water we are going. This will be like in dotted lines. Suppose it is in dotted lines. So, this is your water route from Mumbai to Kolkata. So, here these lines will be there and it will be written C route. So these are all symbols used to read a map. Now, if there is a suppose this river, okay, this river is drawn blue in color. This is blue in color. That means the blue color represents water body. If this north plain is green in color, So it actually represents farm, field, forest. So the use of symbols and colors are also a component of reading a map. So we have seen while drawing a map, we see a box here where everything, every symbol is written and mentioned. Smaller boundaries, larger boundaries, everything. What is this? This is known as a key or a legend. They actually help us to read the symbols present in the map. So a key or legend helps to read a map. Now, what are scale? When we see a bigger area, like we cannot represent whole world, even one place, even Gandhinagar in a two-dimensional map, because even 1 kilometer we cannot represent it on a paper. Why? Because that is very huge, very long and very big. So we divide kilometers into smaller units in centimeters. So let's just suppose we take 1 kilometer to be 5 centimeter. So if something is 1 kilometer big, so we have taken it in 1 centimeter. So here 1 centimeter becomes 1 kilometer. So when we see some area 1 centimeter long, we call it 1 kilometer long. So this is all known as scale. When if the scale is basically the ratio between the distance of the place on map with the distance actually present on ground. So that is known as scale. So we actually talked about scale, and the scale is usually given in the map like this. In this way, the scale is divided. We say 1 centimeter, 1 kilometer. Like this, we talk about the scale. Sometimes there are written map not to be scaled. What does that mean? That means that this map has not been scaled. This map is simple a portrait or a sketch and not scaled map. Okay? So we talked about certain components of reading a map. First is direction, second are symbols and colors, third key or legend, fourth is scale. So these are all components of maps. Now there is one more thing to know about, that is a grid. Why do we use grids in a map? These are basically a maze. Maze are horizontal and vertical lines. These are usually representing latitudes and longitudes, which are used to talk about a location in particular. There are numbers and alphabets given here. So if we are talking about this region, this is 1A. So location of this region is 1A. So this is how grid is also important when we read a map. So today we did what are globe, what are maps, what are the type of maps, and how to read a map. So that's all for today. Thank you. I hope you liked the lecture.